I've been out at the bar and my home feels so far. My tummy's grumbling as I walk, and a delicious aroma is coming from over around the corner of the very next block. And it's nights like these that make such memories. They last as long as souvenirs. When we're out on the lawn, we're up until dawn. Me and you and pizza and beer.
Oh, wait, yeah. It has been 2 weeks since I've been back on a podcast.
We haven't been in a good one in a week.
All right, man.
Oh.
So I went to middle school with you, and I still pronounce your name wrong. Oh, well, you got to turn your mic on. No, mic up there, right there. There you go.
Oh, okay. Sorry, it's technology.
No worries.
Is there an app for that?
There might be.
There actually might be. All right, Jordan. His levels are good.
So I've known you for several years, many years, since middle school, and I still pronounce your name wrong. Is it Ori?
It's Ari.
Ari.
I'm
See,
not the
I always want to
alternative.
call you Ori.
I'm not Or.
R. Ari. There you go.
Yep.
So
Yes, Jordan.
I'm the guy whose name sounds like initials.
there you go.
does that stand
R-E.
for?
There you go.
Got it. So what'd you think about the event tonight, man?
It was fantastic. Had a
Talk
very
into
good
the mic,
time.
though.
Well, I thought I could hear myself just great, but that's usually me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great time. Had some delicious food. The pairings were very nice.
Good.
I think they were spot on. That was fantastic. The food was good. Wanted more sauce, I think. But who doesn't?
Oh, yeah.
And it was quite enjoyable. It was. Thanks for inviting me.
Good.
you
And you
have a
said
favorite?
you're not a huge craft beer person, or you're just getting into it, I guess.
So I'm a vodka guy. So full disclosure, I'm a vodka
As
and
was I.
tequila guy.
I noticed
As
how you
I
said
am.
yeah twice. The food was good, and then you talked a little. The food was good.
Well, okay. Hey, bitter party of one. Your table's ready.
No, I'm not bitter. It was just an
No.
observation.
I
He's
just
just
messing with
teasing
you.
I understood that.
So I'm getting more and more into beers, and this was really good. Like seeing how the different beers worked out with different types of food. Just the dynamics of it.
Yep.
More than I was expecting, which was wonderful. Boy, that dessert pairing, spot on.
The porter and the
Absolutely
the
great.
porter and the blondie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that static monkey, that was fantastic.
Is that a chipmunk? Yes.
Or a static chipmunk. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Same
I
thing.
got the animal, mammal, whatever wrong.
It all works. There's a monk in there somewhere.
Well, you got to understand that after this, someone bought me a tequila, and then my friend went and drink his tequila. So now I'm drinking. I've had 2 tequilas. That was great.
I had one earlier. I know where you're at.
But no, I appreciate that. You're kind of new to this, and that it's been a learning experience for you. The way you can see the possibilities that beer can bring to a dish, and also the variation that you can have within each beer, and also the similarities that you can have within each beer, and how they tie in with each dish and elevate the dish and make it a nice experience.
Yeah, exactly. The how it balances out the meal
Yeah.
is unexpected.
Yeah.
I mean, for someone who's not a beer guy,
Sure.
I wouldn't describe myself as a beer guy. But what you've done is great, and so I've been trying to learn more by watching on TV. They talk about all the different things that they do to
Yeah.
make just to make beers, and it's fascinating. And seeing it all come together.
Right.
I mean, you understand all the complexities of it. I don't.
Do you have more of a sweet tooth, you would say, or a salty guy?
I don't really
You
think so.
salty guy.
I think my palate is a little bit of BS.
Well, I always, it seems like people, when they have people that say, well, I'm not a big beer fan, they say, well, or they like lighter beers, and they always tend to go, okay, well, you should start with lighter beers, but I think it really depends on your palate. If you like sweet stuff, to me, you should start giving people stouts and things that are creamier and sweeter. Then if you give them an IPA, like, oh, that's okay,
Right.
that's horrible.
So-
because I think you really have to find where people's palates are before you start. For people who aren't big beer fans, you got to find out what their tastes are before you just start shoving beer down their throat.
Yeah, I know. That's how I almost drowned once. So I hear what you're saying. The funny thing is I found that stouts were kind of like the safe bet. Like, oh, you know what? I like chocolate. I like coffee. So it's easy to start with stout and start understanding, getting a better feel for a craft beer. But this is the first time I've experienced your beers, and they're very good.
Thank you.
For as best as I can say, right?
Sure.
But I quite enjoyed
Your
them.
experience. Yeah.
The question I have is, so would I buy a few bottles of it, or would I buy a growler of it? And yeah, I would. And that's the key to me is,
Sure.
would I put my money after it? but the nuances of it, it's really interesting. Yeah, as I'm starting my adventure in craft beer, and my gosh, I mean, just Indiana in general.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
The beer. Just the craft beer movement that we have here, fascinating. A friend of mine started Flat 12, right?
Okay.
And I was like, oh my gosh, so I got to meet their brewmaster and all that stuff, and that's where I started to learn more about it. And now with your beers, Evil Czech, right? They all have cool names, right?
Most of us do.
Evil
The
Czech
good ones,
Brewery, I mean, even like the kind of staples like Sun King, etc. That really started it in Indy. Seeing them be successful, I mean, just from an Indiana standpoint, it's great seeing us make a mark, because so many people are like, "What's Indiana?" Right? It's like, oh, it's the 500, right? And
We have corn.
And no one talks about the Pacers, right? Yeah, we have corn. So now we have hops too, right?
We do.
And just we have such a fantastic set of people that really want to, they just have fantastic stuff that they're making.
A lot of
Great creations.
And the support is great too.
Yeah.
I've noticed a big, because I have colleagues that work for breweries that are out of state, and they hate working like in Indianapolis and other parts of the state, because most of the places you approach, they are Indiana centric, and that makes my job a little easier, and I understand it. But you're also seeing a lot of breweries that are in other states that are trying to come into our state, and they're not doing as well as they
Right.
have done in previous times, and that's because Indiana has really started to give value to the breweries that are here in the state. I mean, we have over 120 breweries now. I mean, that's fantastic for the amount of people that live in Indiana. That's wonderful. I mean, you just drive down College Avenue. How many breweries do you go by?
Yeah.
Right.
You go by like St. Joseph's, Metazoa, Sun King, and within short walk there's Flat 12. I mean, there's so many breweries. It's almost one on every corner. It's fantastic.
And it's I mean, when I moved here in 2005 or 6, it was funny. I mean, it's like I was still very biased about how much better Michigan beer was, but there were so many more breweries. And now, just that 10-year span, it's like, holy shit, there's so many breweries now that popped up in Indianapolis, and damn good breweries. And so I think I mean, this whole Midwest, I think, is really hopping with great beer too. I mean, I think everybody knows about out west and Portland,
Right.
and those got some great breweries out there in California, but I think the Midwest has really been booming with great breweries in the last 10 years.
Yeah, so just to echo that sentiment, because I hear you. The interesting thing about Indiana is that we're very local.
Yeah.
We're very proud of our heritage locally, and we're very proud of just anything local in Indy. Just maybe because we're such a small city, or a small state, in the scheme of things, when it comes to recognition, that when we do something well, we tend to dwell on it. But we have so many people doing well. Evil Czech Brewery, any number of them, and it's fascinating to see just how much skill that we have, and it's starting to spread, outside of the state, which is even better, because it just gives us more visibility that I feel that we really deserve.
All right. So, Ari, what do you have for closing remarks? We're actually going to bring Roberto up next and get him on the show, too. We just wanted to kind of get everybody that came out tonight a chance to talk. And what do you got for some closing remarks for us? Hopefully you're going to be a listener now. We'll say that.
I don't really have much of a Jerry Springer moment here. Thanks again, Chris, for inviting me out, to check this out. I'm glad that you hit me up on Facebook about it. But really, the craft movement for so many different things, whether it be beer or whether it be music in Indiana, because we have such a fascinating music scene as well.
We do.
And I've had a number of musicians come into Indy, and some that I've invested in come in and say, hey, the indie music scene in Indiana is almost second to none. Unbelievable.
We actually
I
get
think that our
musicians
next
on the
step
show
is,
as well. So
okay, I think our next step is craft breweries, because we just have so much skill here in Indy.
Food.
Our food is up and coming. Exactly. Thank you.
It's here. I mean, the food's amazing. We have. I can't second that enough. The beer, the music scene, and the food, and again, how the camaraderie between all of these services have been is amazing in Indianapolis and in Indiana.
And I hear you. The mix of that small town charm with those three, right? Craft brew, the indie music and the food scene put together. I mean, those are the things that make nightlife, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. My gosh. I mean,
And the
Indiana's
hospitality.
so
I mean, you
up
gotta
and
have good
coming.
service,
Yeah,
right?
the Hoosier hospitality, which is a real thing, right?
We gotta start
Absolutely.
keeping musicians here.
Great
'cause somehow
podcasts,
musicians
right?
always, when they start to get good, they leave. And that's what we gotta stop.
You know what?
We're
I
getting
found
short.
a
Maybe they'll
number of-
stay now. We got the breweries and then we got the food now, so maybe the musicians will start to stay too. Because there's so
found
many
a
good
number.
musicians go. They're from Indiana, but they're not here anymore. It's like we got to keep them here.
Well, I found a number that have moved to L.A.
Yeah.
and they've come back to Indy. They've
starting
come
to
back
see
to
that now.
Indy.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people, they go out to try making it big, and then they come back to Indiana because Indiana is making it big now. I mean, not as big as we want right now, but it seems like that curve is definitely going straight up.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Hey, Hunter, send Roberto over. You're gonna jump on that one, man. All right, we've got Roberto on the show now. He came out for the event. He missed some of the food, but he got to at least taste the beers. So, what do you think about the event tonight, man?
Oh man, well the food's kind of second, whatever. I came here for the beer, and I got to say the beer is top notch. I don't think there was anything that was bad. Everything was great. I kind of just went through the motions. I drank the first one, enjoyed it. It was really smooth. That was the IPA. I really dig that.
The Evil Czech monk.
Yeah, I think that was the second one. I think that I had.
second was
the
Evil
second,
Czech.
yeah, the Chickman was good.
Static.
But
Well,
that IPA was really, really cool. I dig that, man.
The static chipmunk.
Well, there's two IPAs. There was the Evil Czech monk and the
Evil
static.
Czech.
Yeah,
the
okay.
Evil
Evil
Czech.
Czech
And there was a
monk
static
and
chipmunk.
And then the static, that was good too. I mean, but they were both great. We got Hunter over here. We're just breaking stuff left and right.
Breaking stuff on the
He
mic.
doesn't have
making all
headphones on. I
kinds
just
of
realized how
noise.
freaking loud he's being.
He doesn't,
I know,
does
right? Who invited this guy?
he? Just banging stuff away.
They do. No, but everything was great. I got here, couldn't catch up on the food, but the beer was great. Every beer that I had was excellent. I'm sure whatever you guys had as far as food-wise was paired perfectly.
It really was.
I can't complain about anything.
Well, this
It was
is the
great.
Evil Czech guru right here. This is Jeremy from Evil Czech Brewery.
Oh, damn. So I'm pulling on your tit right now.
You didn't even know it. Hey,
I'd
know
lick it,
I put on
but
weight.
there's
Come
no
on.
visual, man. So you can only do so much on a podcast.
Hey, whoa! We're in Indiana. Mike Pence would not appreciate that.
Oh, you know what? I'm originally from Texas, so fuck Mike Pence. Can I say that?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Let's all say it. Fuck Mike Pence.
Fuck Mike Pence.
Mike Pence.
Just got political.
Dude, just got deep. Damn. No, Evil Czech, good stuff, man. That
Thank
stuff
you.
was
Appreciate that.
awesome, man. That's really cool. Now, you guys local, right? Somewhat local-ish.
Northern-ish.
Indiana, but
Oh, Indiana.
northern.
Local
Yeah.
Indiana, yeah.
He drives down, brings us good stuff, and,
Yeah.
and
Mishawaka.
distributes the
Or
goodies.
Mishawaka.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
He comes down from up north, kind of like Santa Claus, delivering goodies and everything.
Yes.
You got like the best job, or I guess we do, because we're on the
Yeah,
receiving
we-
end, right?
yeah, we get to
So-
drink it.
Oh,
so
fuck
we're
that.
good.
I have the best job. I mean, I get to travel. I get to talk about beer. I get to drink beer. I get to meet people and talk with. And when I'm done, I get to go home. I get to
you
drive
go.
and be by myself and relax. And
There you go.
so-
But until you've experienced Bigsby from Evil Czech,
Okay.
you have not experienced real beer.
So I've heard that's the thing. Do we have Bigsby?
No,
No, we
Bigsby
don't.
here.
We don't.
They're out right now.
They're out.
Yeah,
Okay.
you got to hunt it down.
There's-
So
there's
a
one-
liquor store down the road that we're gonna go get Bigsby.
There's one
yes.
case left in the state, and I know where it is, and you don't. Guess who's going to win that game?
Great. Awesome.
But you're my boy, so I might share.
I appreciate that. I'm like whose dick do I got to suck to get some of that, man?
Cowboy.
whoa, you're in Indiana.
Oh, fuck Mike Pence. Every time I fucking say something, to the gay people, we're gonna say fuck Mike Pence.
There you go.
There you go.
So we're good, I'm an ordained minister, so I've performed several gay weddings. So for anything that he stands against, fuck him,
I got you. I'm an
Whatever.
ordained minister, too.
But let's get back to the beer. The
Doesn't bother
beer,
me either.
Czech, Evil Czech, fucking love it.
Thank you.
I'm from Texas, so we have piss beer because we have Lone Star and Corona. But all the good shit.
I like Lone Star.
Do you really? So do
Yeah,
I.
I like Lone Star.
Every
beer.
time I go to
Good
fucking
stuff,
Texas,
yeah.
that's like our Lone Star. But
It's a good summer beer, I think.
it is.
Good, yeah.
It really is because you can go all day on it. It's almost
Yeah.
like the Viagra of beer because you can drink it all day.
You don't like Shiner?
Are you saying?
I do like Shiner.
Shiner.
I do like Shiner.
Are
Yeah.
you saying
But
it makes
the
you hard?
craft
though?
beer scene in Texas is starting to raise.
It's getting better.
Yeah.
I was there in February. Just my buddy flew me down just to go hang out, and he was like, "Oh, let's go do this, go do that." And I'm like, "Cool, I'm all fine with the beers with the bar scene, but take me to the brewery, man. I want to go see what's going on. Like I haven't lived there in 15 years. I want to see what's coming up."
Is there a reason? We talked about this before in the shows a while. I would think it'd be a bigger scene. I mean, it is in Florida, but there's not a big scene like Alabama and Texas for breweries. And why is that?
Yeah,
is
we
it the
talked
weather?
about
Or-
that.
State by
Is it
state.
just-
State
just
by
state
state
by
legislation. Yeah.
Because we
You know,
talked about that. I went down to Alabama for vacation,
Yeah.
and I searched for a brewery, and I was looking for somewhere cool to go, and it was very slim pick on what I could actually find.
Think about where the most beer is produced in the country, the West Coast. What area politically is most progressive? The West Coast. Right. What area of the country has a lot of like these old grandfather laws? It's going to be the East Coast.
Yeah.
So for a long time, like in Massachusetts, and don't quote me on this, but there were certain restrictions where, like, if you wanted to have a brewery within Massachusetts, you had to grow a certain part of your own grain, and you had to grow a certain part of your own hops. Like it had to be farmed within that state. And I don't know how Boston Beer Company got around. I mean, they started brewing in Cincinnati, of course, but it's just state by state. And I know like Sun King and Three Floyds have been fighting legislation within the state of Indiana to raise the amount of barrelage that could be produced on an annual basis to like keep under the tax limit.
Right.
And so those southern states and are like even Oklahoma, they've been going through some
Bible belts.
Right.
Yeah.
Not just the Bible belt, but the part of the belt where it overflaps.
Yeah.
Overlap.
Overflaps.
Overflaps.
So I kind of like that term better, the overflaps.
The overflaps.
It's a flap.
Just let
I don't know.
them
It reminds me of like when I take off my shirt in the morning, I have that overflap.
Yeah.
Trying to get rid of it, but it's there.
You can't get,
So-
being in the brewing business, I don't think you're ever going to get rid of it. That's just, it just comes with the business and the territory.
The
man.
more overflap, the better.
Exactly, you know. If you don't have overflap,
It's a
then you're
prestige
doing
thing.
it wrong.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Wait a minute. It's Brewer's Droop.
Well, is there a
Come on.
percentage on that, like ABV?
trademark Evil Czech.
So, so in front of us, we actually have another beer. Megan was kind enough to let us bring a very, very special brew inside.
And it's not Evil Czech.
And it's not Evil Czech. But because Jeremy is the guru that he is.
Not a
we
guru,
have,
a czar.
the czar.
czar.
I'm sorry, the czar. The czar that he is. We have Clark back on the show, and we have Roberto on the show. We have brought in front of you our Blind Pig Confessions coffee stout.
Snout
which
stout.
is aptly named our Snout Stout.
Snout stout.
Yeah.
And this is-
Do you
This
say
is-
Blind Pig
It's fun.
Confessions?
The Blind Pig
I
Confessions.
feel like
is
I'm
our
writing
very
pants off when I
first
drink this.
I want to
all
brew with you
grain.
guys.
Yeah.
We would love
Oh,
that.
You like
This
that
is
or
our
no?
very
You
first
would.
all grain
I like this house.
brew
You like the Snout
ourselves.
Stout?
Yeah, I like it.
Thank you.
Do you really?
I appreciate that.
I haven't tried it. I like the name.
Okay, well, hey, step one, check.
Okay, just take his glass. He's good with it.
Hey,
That's all we need.
So you like
Don't let them taste it.
hey, we're done. We're good. We're dropping the mic, and we got the good name. So in front of us, we have our coffee, our espresso stout, I guess.
It's coffee, milk, oatmeal, chocolate, stout.
We couldn't
Oi.
put anything else in according to
Yeah, we went
Anita.
nuts.
So, but anyway, so first of all, aroma. Tell me what you think on the aroma.
And we want brutal honesty. We're not
Yeah,
looking
please,
for
please,
like
please.
praise.
Right.
I don't want to be stroked. I want the honest truth.
Absolutely.
Stroke 'em
This
later.
is our first. This is our first try, and we understand
Shut
that there's
the
got to be
fuck up.
tweaks.
Let's just talk
Let's
about the
do
beer.
it. Do it. Bring it.
No,
Bring it.
I get a lot of chocolate in the aroma.
Really? All right.
In the aroma.
Yeah,
But taste it?
I haven't tasted it yet.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
All right,
the
we're all
aroma
out of
is
time
one thing,
tonight,
but
folks. Sorry. Join us next time.
Yeah, it's like milk chocolate. You can smell the lactose.
Agreed.
I love Coldplay.
As long as it's not Nickelback, we're good.
Did you say I love Coldplay? Are you going?
I just threw it. Am I going?
Are you going to
Is
the
there
concert?
No, I had no idea there was a concert.
I'm just saying because I like Cold. I'm not a closet Coldplay. I dig Coldplay.
I thought you said it was cosplay. I was like, I'm learning a lot about this guy this week.
That's in 2 weeks. We're going to the show, right?
There's nothing wrong with cosplay. I was just saying. Oh, okay.
Right? Exactly. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about the bedroom later. What?
If you like to spice it up like that, man, that's your
Wait,
deal.
wait,
It doesn't bother me.
do, man.
Jeremy's
I'm sorry
thinking
I'm
over
late,
here.
you know.
Jeremy's
Hops.
got some serious.
The hops are wrong.
Hops, yeah.
Yep, exactly. So
I
then
told
that's what
you
we
guys.
talked about.
I told you guys.
You did.
But you told us after
Absolutely.
we'd already brewed it, so we couldn't change it before the brew.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, it's too hoppy.
Yeah.
but other than that, what do you think? Is it?
No, I think it has potential. Like, the aroma's really good.
The aroma's there, and the hops
but
kill
it's,
that.
it's too
flavor.
bitter.
Yep.
Yeah.
We all said the same exact thing.
We
Yep.
think we're going to change the hops and maybe not add them till about 30 minutes or 15 minutes. We said 15 minutes.
But what you guys need to do is do a lighter beer. A lighter beer where you can't mask any of the off flavors.
We just did a pale ale.
You did a well.
Yep.
Okay.
We did a pale and we did a saison.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Good. Then I'll be back.
There you go.
No, I think you guys are on a good track. Like, I really do. But
Cool.
you threw in a lot of ingredients into it.
Right.
You know.
We did.
Yeah.
We were
And this
worried
was our
about
first time.
the first couple. We were more worried about the process and making sure we got the process down.
Sure.
And we knew we'd be able to mask it with a stout. That's kind of why we did the stouts
Right.
first. Figure if we screwed it up, at least it'd still be drinkable. But I still think this is a decent beer.
Yeah.
And we figure if we get the process down, then we figured we were pretty safe to go. Now let's try a lighter beer, a pale, and a saison.
Sure.
And see how that comes out, and then start tweaking stuff from there.
And we're not the kind of guys that go, "Oh, this is going to be the best beer ever drank." We realize that it's too bitter. We realize we got some tweaking to do.
Right.
But is it drinkable? Yes,
Yeah, it is.
absolutely. I can drink it
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
not complain. You know, so that's a step in the right direction.
Hey, I've had home brewers give me beer, and they're like, "Oh, what do you think?" I'm like, "It's good."
It's good, but not really.
And they're like, "Are you serious?" Like, I'm giving away because I think it's shit. I'm like, "Oh, thank God you said something. 'Cause it's awful. Like, I'm not drinking this."
And we're not looking back. We want to make good beer, so if
Yeah.
there's something
You
wrong,
wanna
we
learn.
want
Yeah.
to know.
Exactly.
How better do you
Something's
learn?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
like-
don't want to make mediocre. We
you
really
want-
don't. I mean, the whole premise of our show is finding the good beers and telling the folks about it, and finding the shitty beers and saying don't do it. And we're not going to pull any punches with our own. We
Yeah.
want to make it what we like.
We gotta
and
gotta
what
find that perfect sad
Yeah.
pat beer.
If we're not going to be honest with your product, then why? I mean,
Absolutely.
why bullshit, right?
Absolutely.
I'm like, if
Right.
we're not
Yep.
going to enjoy it, then
Yep.
there's no point in us, lying about it. I'm
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I dig it.
So I was
Yeah,
going to say,
yeah,
what do you,
so
what do you think
Roberto.
about it, Roberto?
Yeah, tell us your honest thoughts.
Honestly, I drink a lot of beer, and that's just because, well, one, I'm Mexican, and two, I'm a musician. so beer and me we go way back. But no, honestly, I dig this. Like, I could drink this on a daily basis. Sometimes when right before I clock into work, I got to take a couple of these.
I don't blame you. I know where you work.
Yeah, exactly. Work
I
can
agree.
suck.
If I may interject, you could almost sell it as like a black IPA,
Almost
like
yeah.
a chocolate
Ah,
IPA.
yeah.
because
That's true,
of
yeah.
the hoppiness.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
right. Yep.
You could.
That's very true.
Yeah.
There you go.
And
Hey,
that's like I
Clark.
said. Clark? Yeah, no, honest opinion here, Clark. there you
we've
go.
got a black saison going on right now, but we'll talk about that later. Clark, what's your thoughts on the snout stout?
Snout stout, like you guys already know, I'm just new to all of this. I love the flavor to
Nice.
it.
Okay.
I would drink it every day.
Nice. All right. I like to hear that, and it's just going to get better from here on out. So
I think once we
looking
get
forward
that,
to it.
once we get that a little bit of that bitter out of there, I think it'll bring out some more of the cocoa flavor, some more of the coffee flavor. I think that the bitter is just it's covering a lot of the other flavors
Yeah.
that are actually
it's
in
masking it. Yeah.
It's unbalanced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Too
Completely agree.
there. Yeah,
But I agree with Clark. Like it's very drinkable, and I don't mean that in like the ugly person in the room. You're like, oh, they were nice.
They invited us out, so let's say something nice about their
That beer had a great
Right,
personality.
right.
It smelled nice.
but we're not that way. If you hated it, we'd want to hear it so we could make it better.
Right. No,
we're not trying to be cocky about it at
I
all.
don't
We
think-
want it to be good.
I don't believe this is a hateable beer. I really don't. Like the aroma of the coffee, and then you get the bitterness from the but it's. Yeah, when you say a stout, like I'm not expecting this, or unless it's an American stout, But when you say you have all those ingredients in there, I think you use too many ingredients. For the
Fair enough.
mainly the hops. It just depends on what you're going for. I think you guys maybe you approached it as like, yeah, all right, we'll throw this in there, we'll do this. Oh, it's gonna be the best stout ever, But then you didn't realize.
Hunter
that you
wanted to
had-
put carrots in there, and I was
I
like,
did.
dude, no.
I was looking for beets, actually.
Beets?
Yeah, I mean, 'cause
I've
I
had a
haven't
good
seen
beet-
that yet.
I've had
So-
a good I've had a good beet beer.
You know what
Really?
beets? You know what beets is good for, right? Beets is a natural Viagra. I'm being dead serious.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Really?
like a Viagra aphrodisiac.
I'm going to pick up a can on the way home.
I'm sure you are. You should probably call home and warn somebody before you do.
Hey, babe, I'm picking up beets.
My fingers are red. I've been eating those beets.
That's just wrong. Wrong.
Anyway, so we have Megan here too, who picked up a little or sampled a little bit too. Just get your quick thoughts on it also.
She doesn't want to hear her voice.
I don't want to hear my own voice. I'm good.
Oh, it's lovely.
So I actually don't get any coffee out of it, but I mean,
Fair enough.
That doesn't bother me. Actually, I don't know if it's like the lactose and the like right up front that you get, but I don't even think it's that. Like,
Okay.
I don't like bitter at all.
Right.
I
didn't get the bitterness until after a couple drinks. Then
it takes a couple
then the
before
bitterness
you go.
started really coming
yeah,
over.
It kind of adds up in a
It
way.
sits on your palate
Yeah.
afterwards, but while you're drinking it, I don't get that at all, and I don't really even. I don't get the coffee, but I don't think that's a problem. I think
Right.
it's actually, as far as it's kind of what I would expect out of something darker. But if you told me there was coffee in it, I'd be like, oh,
Okay, sure there is.
it's that to me like that. I don't know. Sometimes I get to the point where it's like wine tasting, where like they tell you, you know, if you taste it, that's what you like. You're right. Like,
Exactly.
like no, it's not. You're not right.
And
but like usually with a coffee stout, you can taste the coffee. I just
Absolutely.
don't taste the coffee.
And
but
I
don't mind
think
that.
the hops we used kind of took away from that, and that, like you said, it masks that flavor a little bit. And if we use the right hops, I think that coffee flavor will kind of present
Well,
itself a little
and
more
I
in the
think
beginning, especially.
I like the way it presents itself already, even without the coffee. I think that I like the flavor of it.
Now,
I think it's good.
in the
It's
vert,
just-
before it became
the
beer,
vert.
you could really taste the coffee.
Sure.
Yeah.
A lot stronger than you can now.
After it fermented a little more and the carbonation, it
Took away a little bit of that coffee flavor.
So you added the coffee pre-fermentation?
Yes.
Okay.
We didn't do
At
it. We
flame
didn't do
out.
it. We didn't do it in the second at all.
We did it
So-
in flame out.
And was it cold steeped coffee?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
26 hours cold steep coffee at flame out.
Okay.
So what would you suggest on that side of it?
I would add coffee post-fermentation.
Okay.
Yeah. Like even
You think even it would matter that much, even with changing the hop? And
yeah, it would a little bit. I think so.
we don't want to go too far one way or another. Where it's like, well, let's just change the hop before we fuck with the coffee. And
Yeah, think about coffee and its process, right? It's a very simple process when you brew coffee. And after you brew coffee, whether you're cold steeping it or it's French press or it's coming from, a drip machine, it's just running hot water through the beans, through the grounds, and it should be the water should be, low mineral content, and stouts typically have a different mineral content, and then the water has to be at a perfect temperature to really pull out all those enzymes that are contributing flavor to the coffee. So you really have to think about that in your process. So think about the type of coffee that you're using, and then think about, like, are you cold crashing the beer? Like, when you cold crash it, maybe that's a time to add the cold steep coffee, and you'll get more of the coffee aromatics out of it. If you're not looking for the bitterness, because if you're using East Kent Golding or Target or Fuggo like you should in this beer, then you would get. Then the bitterness is going to be more subtle. It's going to be more pleasant, and then you're going to get some of the bitterness from the chocolate. So it's a combination of flavors that are adding all into the beer. What I think is great about this beer is that it defies perception. Where you look at it, it's pretty dark, right?
It is very dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you taste it, because of the bitterness that goes into it and the aroma, it's really not. It's not cloying. It's not tacky. There's really no residual sugars in there. The lactose sugar adds more sweetness than anything. So, I mean, I think you guys are on the right track. I really do. I tip my hat.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Much
man. That's
appreciated.
actually
it's
good to hear.
a Detroit Tiger hat too, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Detroit.
That means quite a bit more.
Shit, all our listeners.
And you just lost 100 listeners.
Well, see, and here's the thing that's kind of odd for us. It's a very big paradigm shift because we're always evaluating other people, and to hear our beer evaluated now is kind of a very interesting kind of shift in what we normally do.
We try to be honest. And
Yeah, absolutely, and that's we're honest. We want you to be honest, and that's good feedback for us to.
I want more
kind of-
honesty with our shit.
Absolutely,
We want to make
absolutely.
good beer.
We don't want to make mediocre.
Right.
I mean, we're having fun.
I
with
don't
this.
want someone to try to stroke us and say, "Oh, your beer was great," and then they turn around and go throw it in the trash can. That's not what I'm looking for.
Right.
I'm looking
Exactly.
for the dude. You know what? I'm sorry. I love you, but
This
it tasted like shit.
I'm
This was
your guy.
bad. This was bad.
Yeah,
This was bad.
I'm
You
your
know,
guy.
that's what I want because I
Yep.
can't make a good beer if somebody doesn't give me their honest opinion of my
Exactly.
beer. I'm not.
Yep.
I'm not upset. Jeremy gave us great feedback. He said, "You know what? I actually do like it, but the hops are a little too strong. It's a little too bitter." That's what we want to hear. I want to
Yep.
know what to change to make it better. Now we're going to go back and brew this beer again. We're going to give the same beer to Jeremy,
Yep.
and he's going to say, say, okay, you know what? This is good. Maybe just a little bit of this. Eventually, one day, Jeremy's going to taste that beer. He's going to go, damn, that is a good beer.
And that's where the
that's
honesty
what we want to
comes-
hear.
The honesty
That's
from
where- when we
another
wanna-
brewer comes in, and you can respect that. I mean, he could easily said, you know what, this is great, run with it. But in his mind, is like, it sucks.
Right.
They're going to fall on their face.
Exactly.
You know, but to have that honest feedback, I mean, honestly, that in itself is a true testament that, you know, there's a friendship and more of a family within brewers. I'm like, we're just trying to, or I'm sorry, you guys are trying to put out a great product, you know, for everybody to enjoy. What would be the point in putting something out that sucks? You know, just because you like it, not everybody else is going to like it. But to get a general consensus from people in the business,
and there's
that
no
speaks
need.
volumes.
There's enough beer drinkers out there. You don't have to be. That's why I love Indianapolis and Indiana, because I think they realize there's enough beer drinkers out there. You don't have to be shady, or you can share your ideas and your
correct.
It's a very close.
The market's there.
Exactly.
It's a very close community
Yeah.
within the craft beer world here in Indy, and I love that. And that's just going to help different brew and grow.
Yeah. And this was our very first attempt at all
Exactly.
grain. The first batch we made was not all grain. It was basically a kit. This was our first attempt where we wrote the
script.
recipe ourselves. We wrote everything about it, and we brewed it the way we wanted to brew it. This was ours 100%, our very, very first one.
Wow.
So the fact that it came out as good as it did, we're proud of that. So even though we recognize right off the bat there were problems, we're still proud of it. You know what I mean? So someone giving us positive feedback is not a negative to us.
Exactly.
It's an absolutely great thing.
There's another thing with craft beer and craft beer drinkers, and I know Jeremy and I both love Scotch and love whiskey, and I've never drank one Scotch go. That's the only Scotch I'm ever going to drink.
Right.
I love tasting all the different Scotches out there, and I think craft beer is just like that. I mean, you see people before craft beer explosion where I drink Bud or I drink PBR. That's all they drank. People, craft beer drinkers like, ooh, I gotta try this. I want to try this. What do these guys have? What do these guys have? So again, that market is there because they want to try. Holy shit, these guys are making something with blood oranges. These guys are making something with avocado. I mean, that's the market is there, and the craft beer. If people want to explore and see what people have to offer.
I think too. There's an excitement around batch to batch.
Yeah.
So like with us with the Static Chipmunk that we had this evening, the first batch of that was brewed with a California ale yeast. This is brewed with a London ale yeast, and it gives it more. It rounds it out. It really like where Texas go.
We're Texas.
Cowboy.
Texas right here.
I'm Texas right here.
Cowboy is
Cowboy.
a little incapacitated.
Yeah.
He had a chipped tooth and had to go to the dentist.
Okay. All right.
No, I'm serious. That's what happened.
Yeah.
So like he was pointing out, the malty sweetness to it and how you get that nuttiness in the end, and that's based on the yeast. That's what the yeast has really brought to the beer. And had you had the first version of it, it would have been more one-dimensional, more hop forward, and the yeast that we used, the London Ale 1, really brought more balance to the beer. Right. So if you look at a brewery, like a growing brewery or a brewery that is trying to, perfect their batch or just even go even deeper into it, like every year that Oberon comes out, I don't know how many times you've witnessed this, but like people will, oh yeah, I'll take an Oberon. It's April, it's Oberon season. It's good, but it's not as good as when I had it back in 2002.
Right.
It was so much better. It had this. It's like, fuck you. You don't remember 14 years ago when you had that beer. Right? Like, if you could tell me where you were at and what was going on in your life at that time, you might have that type of memory, but I disagree. Like, every batch is going to change slightly. Right. It's just like with wine. Hops vary from year to year. Right. Barley varies from year to year. Yep. It depends on the water that's being used, the water treatment. There's little things that slide through.
Right.
We have our checks and balances at the brewery, but there's going to be times where there's inconsistencies.
Right.
But we're always working to perfect our product and make it better and better. Mm-hmm. And that's why going out in the market and actually talking to people and getting feedback. What do you like? What don't you like? Like we have tasting panels at the brewery where we're pulling off the fermenters on a daily basis and trying the beer. It's like I think like Voodoo had we had a batch that had an issue where the yeast, some of the yeast started to die, and then you get this nutty off flavor to it. There's a brewery from Michigan that their beers are now available here, and you get a lot of that in their beers. But
wonder who that is.
No, there's a lot of Michigan beers here.
Yeah.
I'm not going to badmouth anyone. It's just a reference point. But I noticed that in the Voodoo, and the head brewer did as well. It's like, well, how do we fix it? He was like, well, so we had to blend a couple batches, just to mix it out, because we wanted the product. Because I think Voodoo is pretty much, that was the beer that went with the dessert. I think that beer is pretty perfect as is.
Perfect there.
Yeah. And so like you said, like we all want feedback, and that's why it is a big brotherhood. It's a big family amongst the breweries, where we're talking about trade secrets, and like New Belgium was just at Evil Czech last Friday.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Yeah, one of the road brewers. She came in, and the rep came in, and they took a tour, and they had the beers, and they had food, and and she wanted a tour. It's like, why do you want a tour? Like you
do this for a living.
Yeah, you have two massive breweries that you work at. Are you gonna look at us and be like, oh gosh, I remember those days. No, she was like interested. She was talking about the equipment and the various processes that we use, and that's fucking awesome. That's how it should be. Yeah,
well, it is cool. Jordan and I, we got to go down to Twisted Crew and Patrick, and it was very cool. Man, it's just this tiny place putting out a few beers. Very archaic in the back.
Yeah, he told me about that.
It was just this little tiny brewery, but putting out some good beers and awesome guys, and very welcoming of us, and but it was cool. They were very excited to show us what they have, and they're very, very small. Obviously, not right now, and I'm sure they're going to get much bigger. But it's cool to see again from someone from Evil Czech's standpoint, and from all those different sizes of breweries, and everybody's so excited about it because they're excited about the beer, the product they're putting out, which is cool. I mean, that's what's important. Who cares how small, how many, how big your tanks are? As long as you're putting out a good product, that's what really counts.
Right.
And I think you're hitting on an important subject right there. Is the family and the community of sorts. Is that the product is one thing, but if you can put out a great beer and you're an asshole, I think that's going to turn people off. No, I mean that's serious. It's you got your movie star fanboy, and then you put him up on a pedestal, and then you meet him, and he's a total jerk to you. It's like, what? I'm not going to watch your movies. I think it's going to be the same thing with beer. Your beer could be the greatest beer there is, craft beer, whatever, and you meet the people behind it. And they're like, yeah, whatever. We're just doing it because we're going to make $1 million. I'm like, oh,
there's a brewery here now that I think is going the wrong way because of just that.
There's a dozen other brewers that I can go to. If you're going to treat me like an income or a number, then you know what? That's all fine and dandy. Do what you got to do for your family.
They got great beer right down the road.
Exactly, but you know what? I'd rather go to the guy who's got mediocre beer, but he's going to hey, dude, this is your casa, man. Come on in. Let's drink a beer. Tell me what you like, what you don't like, and let's make it better.
So, Roberto,
yeah.
How was Jason Mewes?
Dude, Jason Mewes was awesome, dude. We were I'm just not to get off subject, but that's exactly my point. You know, he did his show, and we waited around, and campus police were like, hey, you guys got to get off campus. It's time to go, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, no, we all know that Kevin comes out, Kevin Smith, Jason Mewes, they always come out after the show, and they do, little meet and greets, even if we didn't pay for them. So we waited around for an hour and a half, and Jason's like, hey, dude, let's get off campus. Let's go over here. Let's go across the street. That way this jerk doesn't say anything to us. And he signed for an hour and a half with everybody who stayed out, took a picture with everybody. Kevin came out. It was really cool. But that's exactly my point. You appreciate that one-on-one because you're no longer a ticket or a beer sold. Now you're like your family. He took 2 minutes out of his life because he could be doing a million other things just to say, hey, you know what? Thank you for coming out. And I think that's something that you guys, Evil Czech being here and then you guys doing your thing and getting together and be like, hey, you know what? Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for coming out and, trying my beer here at Arni's. This place is great, by the way. I had a burger with avocados and bacon. Try it. Awesome. Just a little plug there. But yeah, I think that just speaks volumes of, what you guys are trying to do by keeping it real. Everyone gets so caught up in corporate America and it's all about the bottom line and this and that you forget about where it's coming from deep down within. Because, it's not a job. When you do something you love day to day, it's not a job.
It's a passion.
It's a passion. It's a drive, and that's what we're missing right now. And I think craft beer is a great way because everybody, I want to say everybody, but everybody I know drinks because If you don't drink, I'm not hanging out with you.
Beer's becoming it's become an experience now to associate with.
Exactly.
With it, if you think back, even just growing up, you were drinking your standard, mass-produced beers, and the beer didn't add. You were just drinking it because you were at the event and it was something to drink. Now, actually, the drinking has kind of become an event. There's an association to that that transforms it. It like you said, if you're in good company and it's a mediocre beer, it's okay. I'm trying to get the rest of the words out, but I think you guys understand what I mean. It's no longer just the beer is at the event. The event is the beer a lot of times.
Yeah. Like what you mentioned and what you just said, like I was just thinking about how I was trying to think of something that was similar, and I was thinking of like craftsmanship and like maybe the auto industry or like carpentry.
Woodworking, just
there used to be pride in producing, like doing woodworking and producing a table, and it was sought after, and it was you paid honest money for it, but you knew it was going to last a long time. Same with automobiles, like these engineers, these designers would create these beautiful machines that you were proud to drive. And I think the beer industry kind of did the opposite way, where it's been the industrial lager for so long, and it was just expected. Beer, that's beer.
That's beer. This is my beer.
Yeah, where I used to live, like people would walk into a bar and they'd say, "Give me 2 beers," and I would get dumbfounded when they would have 1,000 beers available, and the bartender would just go to the local industrial lager, push a button, and it'd fill it up. There was no pride in the beer. But I think the society right now and the craft beer movement and how it's the way it's going right now, it's not only amazing, but we're starting to embrace craft.
Just think of
and
watching
the art that goes into it.
The Stanley Cup or the Super Bowl or something 10 years ago, where everyone's just slopping down Bud or something. Hey, you want another beer? You're just no one's thinking about the beer you're watching the game and who gives a shit you're getting drunk.
Right.
Now it's cool because you sit down, you cheers and go, holy fuck, what is that? Who is that? Who's making that? There. That's you're thinking about what you're drinking now, and it is, and it's more experience now.
Right.
It's not just slopping down some alcohol. It's a craft, and you're like, oh, holy shit!
Yeah.
What the hell is this?
Well, and you have these breweries that are trying to they're trying to retrofit it. Mm-hmm. They're trying to take craft and say, oh, this is the new future, and we're big, and we're now the industrial craft. And they're failing. They're losing market share.
Yep.
They are. I could bring you the numbers.
When was the last time? Think back. When would you have ever had a beer pairing with all the industrial lagers with a meal?
Can we do a mahi taco with a Bud Light, please?
But think about it. We were talking about
absolutely
that.
not.
You had mentioned something
would get
about
asked to leave very quickly.
It's kind of like wine now, to the point where wine used to be kind of the exclusive thing where you paired it with a food.
Right.
Maybe a whiskey that you paired with something else, but usually like tapas or something like that. Mm-hmm. But now you can have these where you're pairing a beer, whereas before it was just food was food, beer was beer. I'm done, and that was it.
Yeah.
So, and that's the other beauty part of this, the craft market, and this pride in your beer and what the different kind of things you're putting out. You can now associate them with food rather than just red wine with meat and white wine with
and you
fish.
can do more with it. I'm sorry. I mean, I say this all the time, and I
sure.
love scotch and I love whiskey, but you can do more with beer. There's more available that you can. You can't do what you can do with beer that you can with any other spirit.
Right.
You can't. They haven't done it. I mean, if anybody makes another frickin' maple goddamn whiskey ounce, they should be punched in the balls because it's not right. But with beer, you can actually experiment and do. It's just wide open. Yeah. We haven't even started to know what people can do with beer. Nope. Every day, it seems like someone comes up with another wild flavor, and it's like, holy shit, never thought of that.
Because you hit on the head. Yeah. It's an experience now. It's not just a get together. It's not just let's watch the game. Give me the white label beer, PBB, whatever. No, now it's like, hey, what beer did you bring? Mm-hmm. And when I have get-togethers now, everyone brings different local brewers or microbrews, different stuff because you want to try different. It's like, hey, if somebody comes in with a Bud Light, I'm not going to kick him out, but I'm going to put him in the corner.
Put him in the corner,
right. He's not baby. He's going to the corner.
It's bragging rights now too.
It really is.
It's a who's
who brought the cool beer? Who brought this?
Whose dick is bigger?
Exactly.
I got the better beer. You got no. Everybody's bringing a different one.
But now you're forced to think about what you're consuming. Yeah. It's like with the pairing. Like I I know for me, like I one of the last festivals I did last summer, they had all the brewers together, and this restaurant put this fantastic meal together and paired different beers with us. And I heard all this, all that was silverware. I had no.
That was you heard Spoon Man by wait.
No, I heard all their flatware on their plates, and then everything got silent, and I was the only one still eating, and I was eating for like 5-10 minutes after them because I was sitting there and I was savoring every dish, and I was thinking about and these are my counterparts that are eating with me, but and granted, long day, everyone was hungry, but still for me it's like tonight. I don't know about you guys, but I know pairing the beer with the food, you have to stop.
Yeah.
And you have to rest in the moment, and you have to experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And think about what you're tasting, what you're smelling, what you're seeing, and contemplate, how could this be different? How could this be better?
Right.
It's what element, what was contributing to that taste? What was contributing to that texture? It's a huge experience that it causes you to slow down.
Right. But
your mic's off.
But the thing is, it doesn't usually come on the first bite, though.
Right.
It takes a couple bites. It takes a couple.
Why are we doing it?
Is she live?
Say hi to
What's up, Stephanie?
Yes, she's live.
Hey,
as Jordan derails.
I guess that's one way to be here, but that's pretty lame. Just saying. So
we have a virtual guest.
So one thing.
So what did you think of the pairing?
Hey, what did you think of the pairing for not being
How was that
here?
virtual beer and that virtual food?
Hey, wait a minute. Are you laying in bed right now? Because I got to be honest, I'm not sure what's coming next. So do we have to add $1.95 per minute?
Can we see your hands, please?
Wow.
There's one.
Come see us, right? All right. So question for you, and bringing it back to what we did with our brewing and everything. So when you guys put together, like, let's say Static Chipmunk or let's say Bigsby, did it happen on the first try, or did you have to tweak? Did you have to do different things, or kind of how did that process go? Kind of explain that to me from a bigger standpoint than what we do. What did that look like on your end?
I'm sorry, that's confidential information. I cannot.
Did it take you
Right
6
on.
weeks to really?
You need to sign a non-disclosure.
So let me go back to
podcast.
Stephanie.
No, so like with Bigsby.
Go on, Jeremy.
So like with Bigsby, yeah, like that was a recipe that's been developed,
Right.
because we're dealing with a local coffee roaster.
Sure.
And the person that we were using previously, they brought us good product, but it started to change because
Kenny Rogers Roaster.
Kenny Rogers Roasters, yeah.
Ooh.
He does great chicken.
Good.
Chicken beer?
Have you had the broccoli?
You had chicken beer? You got chicken beer now?
Have you had?
That's not going to be good for anybody.
That's not going to last.
Maybe
So
in
I'm
Alabama.
actually interested to hear this answer. So shut up.
Sorry, I'm sorry. You said Kenny
No, like when we were getting, this coffee roaster to bring us, a cold steep coffee.
Right.
And when the ownership had changed hands, then we noticed the product had changed. So we had to change our producer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we also have a local chocolatier that brings us cocoa nibs, and so you really have to pay attention to the ingredients that are going in.
Right.
And yeah, it's like socialism and communism. Looks good on paper, right? But then you have to, if you're going to put it into to effect, you have to make your tweaks, right? So it's like with any recipe, like with baking. You have to consider the ingredients, the local, the atmosphere, the pressure, everything that can have a negative, an adverse, or a positive effect on your beer. So it's like with the White Reaper beer we didn't have tonight, but it's a white IPA, and it's one of those that I had previously worked with a brewery that had a very fantastic white IPA, and I had suggested that we just tone down the hops a little bit and tone down the spices that went in there because they kind of clashed. You had this herbal bitterness that was just overwhelming. And so on the next batches, he started to lower it down, but he did it in a subtle way so that people didn't notice the change right off the bat.
Right.
You know, he allowed people to acclimate themselves to the change in flavor, and it's still, I think it's a better beer at this time than what it was. Right. And we've garnered more fans because of those subtle changes. So you know, and it's like we're in the process of switching our yeast from using the California ale yeast to using London Ale 1. And I think it's fantastic, like between this Static Chipmunk and the previous edition. And then the Evil Czech Monk, like this is the second batch of it. The next batch will be with that newer yeast, and it's going to be even better than what it is. So yeah, we're always looking to improve. Right. Yeah, absolutely. Every brewery is.
Cool.
I hope so.
So let me ask you, okay, and I've heard, you know, we've heard both extremes on this as a brewery. Obviously, you know, now that with the major guys trying to buy people out. I think we all do is from a selfish side of it is I don't want Evil Czech to ever, you know, give in to Bud or, you know, InBev and get sold out.
InBev or
but it's
SAB
selfish
Miller.
because I'm always worried about your beers never doing the experimentation like you're just talking about. I don't want that to go away. I would be afraid that would go away. But I've heard guys say, well, screw it. You know, I love my beer and craft making, and I'm still going to do it no matter what. But if someone offers a couple $1 million for my brewery, see you later. And then some guys will say, well, no, I'll never, this is my craft and my craft only. So I've heard both extremes of this. Do you stand anywhere in that? Does it matter? I mean, I don't know. It's kind of unique. I see people have really hard feelings about this both ways.
Sure.
And for me, it's selfish.
No,
well, yeah.
You have to look at the industry, and you have to look at the founder. So if someone founds a brewery and they were initially, like, what were their initial goal? Was it to like my first job as a brewery rep? I sat down with the owner and I asked him, I said, what was your main goal, your main objective? Was it to, like, basically rule the world in the beer industry, or was it to reach a plateau and maintain that plateau? And he's like, that's a really good question. He's like, I actually just want to reach a level of maintenance and maintain that plateau. And, you know, and I know he was honest in saying that. And it's like, well, then what happens when that person comes to you and they're vetting you and they're like, hey, Ballast Point will offer you $1 billion for your business. Shortsbury, yeah. Founders, Lagunitas.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Goose Island.
Yeah.
You know, do I blame those guys for selling? No, not at all. Because their intention was to make money. And right now we're in an environment where you don't make money brewing beer. Like, we make money at our restaurant. We don't make money brewing beer. Like, I'm trying to build that, and, you know, I'm well on our way to doing that. But we make money at the restaurant. So if someone were to come in and say, hey, I like the potential of this product, if we buy you out, we can start brewing your recipes here. We can expand your distribution, not only throughout the 50 states, but also globally, internationally. You know, here's the revenue, here's your cut. I mean, you'd be hard-pressed. I would say maybe one person might turn it down.
Yeah, it reminds me really of, and as a musician, it's the same thing. Where
I was
it's
about
funny.
to say that.
Where musicians go, it's just my craft, and I don't care. You know, I'm going to do my thing.
My musical integrity.
Right, but then some, you know, Warner Brothers comes and said, well, how about $1 million for your integrity?
Where do I sign?
Okay,
it's funny because you were talking about it, you know, keeping that thing to yourself. You know, and I was going to ask, you know, when you have a product, you know, but when is a beer done? You know, it's kind of like, when is a song done? You know, there's always this one thing, you want to tweak it here, you want to do this. Let's, you know, do the EQ here, or let's add hops here. It's kind of the same thing. And going back into this, you know, not selling out, but expanding your marketing ability, just like with a band or a musician, what have you. You know, it's not, you know, I don't want to say it's selling out, but there comes a point where, you know, do you want to keep your musical integrity and you just want to keep, you know, playing locally and doing things on your own, which you can now, because, I mean, honestly, the record labels are done with. Anybody can start their own label and do their albums at home. That's what Microbrew is doing with beer, and it's a great thing because you can kind of keep everything to yourself. If you want to expand and get into a larger market, the possibility, I'm sure, is there if you have the numbers to back it up. Because there's no A&R guy right now looking at a band. It's like, he's the first thing he's going to ask, how many followers do you have on Twitter? I believe me, I know, because I've asked these, I've talked with these guys. I'm still a working musician. If you don't have 10,000 followers on Twitter or Facebook, they're not even going to look at you. A&R guys used to go to bars and listen to bands.
Yeah.
And nowadays they're just looking on Facebook and YouTube. I'm like, it takes all
disgusting.
the fun out of it. It sucks. That's why I hated the reality of the musical industry is bullshit. But because microbrews here, or brewers to be able to bring their own thing to the game, and I'm like, I'm going to brew this, and I'm going to give these to the boys in my car shop, or my club, or in my poker game, and then it expands to people I work with, and it just kind of goes from there. That's a good thing because you're doing what you like on your own terms, and I think that's what it all boils down to. If it goes on a mass level, I think if it's on your own terms and you're doing your thing, or they're going to do your thing on a bigger level, then you're keeping that integrity.
Right.
As long as you do that.
That's why I was saying earlier how I feel like the brewing industry has flipped from craftsmanship, where it was initially, back in the late 1800s. I mean, there was about 1,800 breweries within the United States. Before Prohibition, before 1918, there was 1,800 breweries in the U.S. And then it squashed down to technically 5 or 7, whatever numbers you want to look at, or the various details of the situation. But so now that the craft brewing has grown in part mainly because of the craft, or because of home brewing, and the legislation that has been passed on that, and the innovation that has come on that, and the interest that has built the industry to where, you have programs at major universities, and you have specific schools that are set up just for brewing technology and studying genetics of yeast. These are things you didn't have 20 years ago. So it's still a developing. I don't know what it's going to be 10, 20 years from now, but I think what we have is that aspect of local pride right now. And like you were saying, if you get some of the musicians to come back to Indiana, to Indianapolis, and you have venues that support them, and that will pay them the fucking money they deserve for performing and bringing in a crowd and giving them the support, the marketing support. It's like every ship rises with the tide, right? And that's how I view the brewing industry. So what's going on? Dead air?
No, we're good.
No, we're good. We're good. George just hit on some guy again. That was a girl. Oh shit,
dude.
No, that was your shit.
Yeah.
Dude.
Sorry about that.
But there is such a local pride, and it's difficult. I find it interesting, the dichotomy of our local market within Mishawaka and South Bend. They don't support us like I would anticipate. We're catty corner to a Red Robin and a Hooters and a Scotty's Brew House and I think it's a Carrabba's and all these. And I would expect them to have our beer because we're local, and that's going to be one of my big goals this year, is really trying to revamp our local image with the people that are around us. Because how many people come in, for Notre Dame? We're 3 miles from Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. How many thousands of people come from all over the country for football games that go into a location for dinner that's either on campus or in the surrounding area within a 5-mile, 20-mile radius where they want something local, and that's a different soapbox. But I think that's what is really driving the craft beer industry right now is the love of local pride. But you are going to get those people that are like, hey, I'm making money. Oh, are you shitting me? I can retire on this, and my kids and my kids' kids, they'll be set for life. Fuck yeah, man.
See you later.
Would you do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think,
and I'd always despise the Kurt Cobains of the industry. Who go, oh, he didn't want to be famous. Shut the fuck up. He signed a goddamn contract because he wanted to be big and famous. So shove it up your ass.
Right.
Yeah. Deal with it. And so you have the guys like Shorts and stuff. Yeah, you know what? They said Michigan only, but you know what? After a while, bigger is better.
Right. No garage band starts in their garage and is like, this is awesome. Let's do this for the rest of our careers.
But there's a great blues documentary of the guys who down the Delta were like, screw you guys, we don't have nothing to do with the record contracts, and they don't give a shit. But there's very few of those people who are doing that. But the guys out there going and touring and going into the bars, they want to make it big. Yeah. So anybody that says they don't want to be famous and don't want to, shut up.
Right.
That's why you're doing this.
Exactly.
It is a love of music.
Right.
But you want to make $1 million and you want to be bigger than anybody else.
Right.
That's why you do it.
And there's a different aspect of selling out in the music industry when you're like maybe answering to a producer who is writing your music or mixing it in a way that it's like, no, this isn't my vision of the song. It's like, yeah, but it'll sell.
Shit!
It'll sell records.
I'm sorry.
That's a whole other. I mean, that's a whole other story.
The hell was that, Hunter?
Well, we just had a new guest.
Well, yeah,
actually.
Sam came into the bar.
I mean, Sam came in like as we're probably fucking wrapping shit up, but that's
we're getting ready.
Dude, I'm kind of Sam's MO. That's kind of my point.
We're at 2:15.
Sam comes in as we're leaving, and he's supposed to be the comedian.
We gotta, we need to probably.
We had to cut a couple
Here's the thing. Before
so
Sam
far.
came in, I actually had a fucking good question, and it's gone now. Nope, it's gone.
I think
Sam,
there's one more
you're a
Evil
dick.
Czech brew though before we leave.
You did.
Yes, we are drinking another Evil Czech brew, but I think we have
No,
this
I
already.
just ordered us another.
You don't have it yet.
Oh,
You've had
there's
too
that.
many.
There's that.
I have not.
So can I go back
Not
to the
you.
Bigsby?
Sure.
Yeah. So when's that coming out?
Hunter likes to.
I know you don't know, but you're gonna call me tomorrow, right?
A couple weeks.
Okay. Is it really?
Yeah.
Fuck. I don't care when it is. So we're there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well-
I think end of June, beginning of July.
Dude, seriously, let us know, and we will come up there for a special show
Yeah.
for the release of that, because there is no better beer in the United States.
But the next version we're releasing is a barrel aged.
Then you know what? It can only get better from there.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest here.
We got to
Let's
do
be
that.
honest.
We got to do the
amazing.
show for that one.
That's what's up.
So we'll have the equivalent of one barrel, so 31 gallons,
Okay.
available, and it's
So we get 28.
yes.
Okay, cool. Roberto, you coming with us?
I'm down, man. I
That's
got
my
my truck
boy.
ready to go.
Clark,
Roberto's going to play.
Ouch.
What do you play?
he's in.
I play guitar.
Guitar?
Yeah.
All
Hey.
right.
I suck, but I got paid for it.
Cool.
Somebody always thought it was good enough. Oh,
Hey.
icy beer.
Hey, did you know? I like to sing.
You used to sing?
Yeah, I
Really?
like literally moved down south and almost got signed by Atlantic Records.
What?
Yeah, for real. So we should talk after this,
Dude, we definitely.
Let's play some shit,
I'm down, man.
and
I'm-
let's let's get sponsored by Evil Czech.
Yeah, we can work on that.
Boom, mic dropped. I'm out for the night. Hunter out.
Hunter's out.
hand motions and everything.
I mean, if you could see the shit, if Jordan was recording live right now on Facebook, you would
I
have seen
actually,
it.
I did
But
some,
he's
about 5 minutes
texting
live.
somebody-
I hope that's not bad.
Probably his wife or something.
I just
I
signed
don't
a
know.
non-disclosure, so fuck all y'all.
That's
but
all right.
still.
Yeah, that works. It's okay.
Non-disclosure. That's what's up. Oh, you're not drinking with me. Oh, you're just giving me a beer.
Yes.
Well, I toasted you, and hey, cheers to you, because you've been
Thank you.
fantastic tonight. What's your name again? Sarah?
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah from Arnie's. Without you, tonight would have been possible. I mean, let's be honest here. You supplied us. You kept us going. Without you, the show would have been shit. Thank you, Sarah.
No, the staff here is awesome. The
Yeah,
food
absolutely.
was great.
Everything was
Location
great.
is perfect. I mean, you're not, granted, you have some of the traffic from the Meridian and Keystone and 96 and 86 all around, but
You used to if you live here, so
yeah, you're used to it. I mean, it's really
it's
not,
not
that bad.
at traffic. Really.
No, because I came in,
not
you know,
Chicago.
in the heat of traffic, you know, and it really wasn't bad at all.
So, all right,
And
guys,
you have Foreigner playing in the background.
we do. So, all right. Well, I want to take a time to thank Jeremy coming down from Evil Czech, and
You're welcome.
we love everything about Evil Czech and Jeremy, except for the fact that he didn't bring us any Bigsby tonight.
Oh, it's okay.
We'll still keep them as
Jeremy.
friends.
Dude, he brought a lot of choices.
Still my favorite from you.
It'd be like you going to a barber and him being mad at you because you don't have any hair. We don't have any Bigsby.
I know. I'm just giving you shit, brother.
I know. Why does everyone say that? Like, I know you're giving me shit. Like, why is that always like a disclaimer?
Let's not pull any punches here.
I'm just giving you shit. I'm just
I thought
giving
you were
shit.
I did give you
fucking
shit,
serious.
but seriously, fuck you.
Oh, good.
We're
I
not
don't.
gonna have any-
So I have no reason to be offended. That's what you're saying right now.
He's from Texas. It's kind of like when you say, what's the old standard? Bless their heart. That's that disclaimer. Bless their heart, but they're retarded.
They're stupid.
So, and thanks
Bless
to
your
Jeremy.
heart. You ain't
and-
got no evil. You ain't got no Bigsby.
Thanks to Megan, and then thanks to two of the show's fans that came out tonight. We got Clark and we got Roberto came on the show. We appreciate you guys coming out for the.
Ari came on earlier.
Ari came on earlier. Yep.
Thank you, Sad Pat, for being here.
And Sad Pat
Yeah,
was
that's not bad.
Just angry Pat
That was
for a while
shit,
there.
and you know it was.
Just
Hey,
you rolling
Clark,
your tongue.
thanks for
worked
being
right.
here, man.
Thanks, Clark.
Yeah, Clark, hey, you know what? You've been to the last 2 shows. Props to you, man. Thanks for coming out, and thanks for supporting us. And all you fans, I mean, come join us,
All
man.
you
It's
fans.
really a good time. We'll get you on the show. We'll have fun. We'll drink some beer together.
We have our calendar up on our Facebook page. You can
Absolutely.
check out all the events we're at and where we're recording.
What app is that?
Oh, we're not going there.
Thanks, guys, for
Hey.
meeting me at Arnie's.
No, thank you.
Beat you at Arnie's. Hey,
Pound meet me.
Evil Czech.
Pound Evil Czech for the
Hey,
old people.
And let's just throw this out there. Pat will do you. A little Pat will do you. So. Pat might not make the show.
Coming
but
to these in.
Hey, hashtag little Pat will do you.
Especially Sad Pat, because he will turn that frown upside down.
I'm going to wreck that.
That's
He'll
called
turn it over and
that's
wreck
called a
it.
69.
Anyway, good night, folks. Thanks.
I've been out at the bar and my home feels so far. My tummy's grumbling as I walk. And a delicious aroma is coming from over around the corner of the very next block. And it's nights like these that make such memories. They last as long as souvenirs. When we're out on the lawn, we're up until dawn. Me and you and pizza and beer. Pizza and beer, pizza and beer. Let your bad times disappear. How I'd love to meet you for some beer and pizza. So bring out your pizza and beer. Go on and bring out your pizza and beer. Well, I feel just fine when I'm drinking wine. It doesn't take me much to adjust. But I still don't care about my silverware hanging out with the upper crust. Give me filet mignon or some escargot under a big fancy chandelier. And I'd send it right back with a note attached saying, bring out some pizza and beer. Pizza and beer, pizza and beer. Let your bad times disappear. How I'd love to meet you for some beer and pizza. So bring out your pizza and beer. Go on and bring out your pizza and beer. My friend Sam likes pineapple and ham. Sally likes an artichoke heart. And some olives green and some extra cheese, so it's hard to get the slices apart. And my old friend Lester loves his red hot peppers. But honey, don't you have no fear, 'cause there won't be a frown once you wash it on down. Oh, my good old pizza and beer. Pizza and beer, pizza and beer. Let your bad times disappear. How I'd love to meet you for some beer and pizza. So bring out your pizza and beer. How I'd love to meet you for some beer and pizza. So bring out your pizza